Finally, in this lesson, and by the way, this number should be a 3. In this lesson, I'm going to combine the two skills that I had from the previous two lessons, and I'm going to simplify algebraic expressions. The first thing I'm going to do is combine like terms. This is a repeat of the information that was in 2 lessons ago. And then I'm going to use the distributive property. Well, actually, I'm going to use the distributive property first. Then I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to combine the steps I already had, and that's what I'm going to use to simplify. Now, this is worth writing down in your notes. 2 steps for simplifying algebraic expressions. Number 1, use the distributive property to remove parentheses. And I have a little note. Multiplication rules for signs. Signs alike, positive. Signs different, negative. Then you're going to combine any like terms. Another little note, addition rules for signs. If they're both positive, add them and it's positive. If they're both negative, add them and it's negative. If you have one of each, you subtract and keep the sign of the big one. Distributive property, combine like terms. Those 2 steps. Let's use them. Okay, simplify the expression. First, use the distributive property to multiply and remove parentheses. All right, so here we go. I'm going to write, I hope, small enough to get it in here, but that you can see it. So I have 5 times x plus 6 minus 25. All right, if I'm supposed to simplify it, the first thing I do is look for parentheses, see if there's a number to distribute. There is. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times positive 6 is positive 30. And I have a minus 25 that was not in the parentheses, so I did not distribute to it. Step 2. Of these 3 terms, are any of them alike? And I hope you see yes, that the 30 and the negative 25 are both constants. So I'll keep the 5x. I have positive 30, negative 25, going to subtract for positive 5. And that's my simplified expression. That is much easier to work with. All right, let's look at another one. I have 8 plus 4 parentheses 3c minus 1. All right, I notice parentheses. Is there a number to distribute? Yes. Somebody might want to add those together first, but no, you do distributive property first. So I'll keep the 8. 4 times 3c is 12c, and it's positive, so I'll put the plus sign. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Do I have any like terms? Yes, I have constants. Now you can do these in any order you want. I have a positive 8 and a negative 4, so I will subtract, keeping the sign of the big one, gives me 4. Plus the 12c does not have any friends. Or you could have the 12c written first and the positive 4 written second. So either one of these would be just fine. Let's look at number 3. Negative 3 parentheses 7n minus 5 close parentheses plus 2n. All right, parentheses tell me to use the distributive property. I'm going to distribute a negative 3. Negative 3 times 7n is negative 21n. Negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. Do I distribute to the positive 2n? No, it's not in the parentheses. Now, to finish simplifying, I look at all my terms and say, are any of them alike? Yes, there's a negative 21 and there's a positive 2. I let the signs in front of them be their signs. I have a negative and a positive. That means I need to subtract. 2 from 21 is 19n, and it will be negative because the big one was negative. And I have a constant 15 that does not have any like terms to hook up with. All right, number 4. Whoops, I jumped down there way too far. We have lots to practice. We have 4 plus 5 parentheses w plus 3 close plus w. If I'm going to simplify, I look for parentheses first. I have some, and I have a number to distribute. Keep the 4. 5 times w is 5w. 5 times 3 is positive 15. And then I have a plus w that is not in the parentheses. Do I have any like terms? Yes, I have some w terms, and I have some constant terms. And I think I'll do the w's first. Positive 5 and implied positive 1 gives me 6w. The constant 4 is positive, the constant 15 is positive, so I add them up for 19. Those are not like terms. I'm done. Next one, 4 parentheses 3x plus 1 close plus 4 parentheses x minus 3. All right, if I'm going to simplify, do I get to use the distributive property? The answer is yes. And I'm going to use it here in the next part. So 4 times 3x is 12x. 4 times 1 is positive 4. In the second set of parentheses, I have a 4, which is a positive 4 to distribute. 4 times x is positive 4x. 4 times negative 3 gives me negative 12. Do I have any like terms? Yes, I have a 12x and a 4x. They're both positive. That adds up to be 16x. I also have a 4 and a minus 12. Now those are different signs, so I'm going to subtract. 4 from 12 is 8, and the big sign was the negative, so it is 16x minus 8. The next one simply has a negative sign in front of 3y minus 7 plus an 11. When you have simply a negative in front of parentheses, then the number being distributed is actually a negative 1. When you multiply by negative 1, it changes the signs. Negative 1 times positive 3y gives me negative 3y. Negative 1 times negative 7, negative times negative is positive 7 plus 11. Do I have any like terms? Yes, my constants are alike. So I'll keep the negative 3y. Positive 7 and positive 11 gives me positive 18. Number 8. I have 5 parentheses x minus 6 minus 9x. And by the way, it's obvious that I skipped. I'm not going to do a problem like everyone in the homework. I see parentheses. I use the distributive property. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. I bring down the minus 9x. Do I have any like terms? Yes, I have a positive 5x and a negative 9x. They have different signs. I subtract and keep the sign of the big one. Minus 5x minus 9x is minus 4x. And a minus 30, that's a constant, nothing to combine with. All right. Let's skip a few. Let's go down to number 10. And have negative 8 parentheses x plus 4 close plus 7 parentheses 2x plus 1. 2 sets of parentheses, 2 events of distributive property. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x. Negative 8 times 4 is negative 32. Second distributive property is with a positive 7. Always be sure you look at the sign. Positive 7 times 2x is positive 14x. Positive 7 times 1 is positive 7. Do I have any like terms? Yes. I have negative 8x and positive 14x. When the signs are different, I subtract, keep the sign of the big one. That's 6x. With the constants, I have a negative 32 and a positive 7. Well, once again, their signs are different, so I subtract for 25, and 32 had a negative sign, so it was the bigger number. It's negative 25. Let's go all the way down to number 13. I have negative in front of 3xy minus 10, close parentheses, plus 2 times 5xy plus 7. Now, that's a term that we really haven't seen much. When I left off something, sorry. An xy term. It's just a term. It's x times y. All right, I see the parentheses, so if I'm going to simplify, I look to see if I can do the distributive property, and yes, there's a negative 1. Negative 1 times 3xy gives me negative 3xy. Negative 1 times negative 10, negative times negative is positive, and we get a 10. Second group of distributive property, I am distributing a positive 2. 2 times 5xy gives me 10xy. 2 times 7 gives me 14. Like terms? Yes. XY's are like terms. I have a negative 3 and a positive 10. When the signs are different, I subtract, and I have 7xy. My constants, plus 10 and plus 14, those signs are alike, so I add them up for 24. Okay, so simplifying an algebraic expression takes at most 2 steps. First, the distributive property, to remove parentheses using the multiplication rules for signs. Then, combine like terms using the addition rules for signs. You'll use this process of simplifying algebraic expressions throughout all of algebra.